Have you ever wondered what it feels like to stand beneath a sky so vast it seems infinite? Welcome to Montana, the big sky country, where rugged wilderness meets breathtaking beauty in America's last great frontier. This is where towering mountains pierce azure skies, pristine rivers carve through ancient valleys, and wildlife roams freely across untouched landscapes. In today's journey through Wild Discoveries with Sarmad, I'll guide you through Montana's most spectacular destinations, from glacier-carved peaks to sapphire lakes, historic towns to hidden waterfalls. Stay until the end to discover a remote outpost that feels like stepping back in time. If you're ready to explore the wild heart of America, hit that subscribe button to join our community. Let me know in the comments which Montana wonder sparks your wanderlust the most. Despite being the fourth largest state, Montana remains one of the least populated with just over 1 million residents, meaning there are often more mountains than people. The name Montana comes from the Spanish word for mountain, though the state features both dramatic Rockies and vast eastern prairies. Montana's history is as colorful as its landscapes, from the 1860s gold rush to the copper boom that earned Butte the nickname, the richest hill on earth. The state holds extreme weather records with temperatures ranging from 117 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Montana hosts the largest migratory elk herd in the nation and remains one of the few places where grizzlies, wolves, and mountain lions still roam freely in the lower 48. Perhaps most impressively, about 1/3 of the entire state, over 30 million acres, is public land, preserved for everyone to explore the authentic American wilderness. Nestled in the Gallatin Valley, surrounded by 6 mountain ranges, Bozeman combines the energy of a university town with world-class outdoor adventures. Its historic Main Street features century-old brick buildings, housing farm-to-table restaurants, boutiques, and galleries that showcase Montana's creative spirit. The Museum of the Rockies houses one of the world's largest dinosaur fossil collections, including a full T-Rex skeleton discovered in Montana's Badlands. The surrounding landscape offers year-round adventures, from powder skiing at Bridger Bowl to fly fishing blue ribbon trout streams. As golden light bathes the Spanish peaks in alpenglow, visible from downtown, would you hike wildflower-covered trails in nearby Hyalite Canyon? Or sample local craft beers along Bozeman's walkable downtown? Let me know in the comments which Bozeman experience would top your Montana adventure list. Rising from 4 gold prospectors who struck it rich in Last Chance Gulch, Helena transformed from mining camp to Montana's capital, where historic mansions tell stories of frontier fortunes. The copper-domed state capitol anchors a city where 19th century architecture creates a living Victorian museum. The Cathedral of St. Helena, with twin spires and 59 Bavarian stained glass windows, dominates the skyline. Helena uniquely blends urban and natural worlds. Downtown sits minutes from Mount Helena City Park, where trails lead directly from city streets to panoramic summit views. The Great Northern Carousel features hand-carved Montana wildlife. While the Gates of the Mountains, limestone cliffs named by Lewis and Clark in 1805, offer boat tours through a dramatic canyon just outside town. Would you explore Helena's Gold Rush history or hike to Mount Helena's summit? Tell me in the comments. Shimmering like a sapphire amidst forested mountains, Flathead Lake stretches across nearly 200 square miles. As the largest natural freshwater lake west of the Mississippi, its crystal clear waters reach depths of 370 feet with such exceptional clarity that boats sometimes appear to float on air. This massive glacial lake creates its own microclimate that nurtures the famous flathead cherries grown in shoreline orchards. Wild Horse Island State Park, accessible only by boat, hosts wild horses roaming freely alongside bighorn sheep and deer. Indigenous Kootenai and Salish peoples called this region home for thousands of years before European arrival. Today, lakeside towns like Big Fork offer arts festivals and waterfront dining. Would you kayak along the dramatic shoreline with towering cliffs and hidden coves? Or relax at a lakeside orchard sampling fresh cherries with mountain views? Comment, which experience would make your perfect Montana summer day? Known to the Blackfeet as the backbone of the world, Glacier National Park preserves over 1 million acres of towering peaks, alpine meadows, and carved valleys that showcase the power of ancient ice. With 700+ miles of hiking trails leading to sapphire lakes, thundering waterfalls, and 25 remaining glaciers, this crown jewel of the park system captivates all who visit. The Going to the Sun Road, an engineering marvel completed in 1932, crosses the Continental Divide at Logan Pass, where mountain goats appear against dramatic alpine backdrops. As part of the world's first international peace park with Canada's Waterton Lakes, Glacier protects critical habitat for threatened species like grizzlies and wolverines. Historic Swiss-inspired chalets built by the Great Northern Railway maintain their rustic elegance. Would you challenge yourself on the cliff-hugging Highline Trail or take a historic wooden boat across turquoise St. Mary Lake? Share which glacier adventure would fulfill your wildest Montana dreams. Through Montana's north entrance at Gardner, visitors pass under the Roosevelt Arch into America's first national park. A wonderland where approximately half the world's geysers erupt in steaming displays. The Montana portion includes the terraced Mammoth Hot Springs, where mineral-rich water creates formations resembling frozen waterfalls, and the Lamar Valley, often called America's Serengeti for its prolific wildlife. Montana was integral to Yellowstone's establishment. The Washburn-Langford-Doane expedition of 1870 departed from Montana territory. The historic mining town of Cook City near the northeast entrance offers glimpses into frontier life. While the Gardner to Cook City Road remains the only route open year-round for winter wildlife viewing. Would you explore the rainbow-colored travertine terraces or search for wolves and bears in Lamar Valley? Let me know which Yellowstone experience would top your Montana adventure. In a dramatic testament to nature's power, Quake Lake stands as a reminder of the night in 1959 when a 7.5 magnitude earthquake triggered a massive landslide that sent 80 million tons of rock crashing down Madison Canyon. This 6-mile-long lake formed in moments when the slide blocked Madison River, burying a campground where 28 people perished. Dead tree trunks still protrude from the water's surface, while the Earthquake Lake Visitor Center perched on the landslide offers panoramic views. Visitors can clearly see the massive scar on the mountainside where the landslide originated. The area sits along the Hebgen Lake fault zone, connected to the Yellowstone supervolcano system. Would you be drawn to learning about the geological science behind this catastrophic event, or prefer to fish the nutrient-rich waters that have developed into a blue ribbon trout stream below the natural dam? Share how this landscape of destruction and renewal speaks to you. The weathered headframe of Alta Mine rises above pine forests near Jefferson City. Telling the story of Montana's mining heritage, this historic silver and lead mine operated from the 1870s through mid-20th century, leaving behind an industrial complex that serves as an open-air museum. Rusted machinery, crumbling stone foundations, and massive timber work offer glimpses into the industrial past that built Montana. Nature slowly reclaims the site. Wildflowers push through concrete cracks, pine seedlings take root alongside rusted ore carts, and mountain bluebirds nest in skeletal remains of buildings. The landscape bears witness to both environmental costs of early mining and nature's resilience. Would you be more fascinated by the mechanical ingenuity of old equipment, or the human stories of immigrant miners who risked everything pursuing subterranean riches? Comment. Which aspect of Montana's mining heritage would capture your imagination most? Carved over millions of years by the persistent Bighorn River, this spectacular canyon slices through the Montana-Wyoming border with walls rising over 1,000 feet. Warm, turquoise waters of Bighorn Lake wind 71 miles through this dramatic landscape, creating a paradise for boaters who can navigate between towering cliffs of multicolored limestone. Wild horses descended from Spanish Mustangs roam the canyon rim, while bighorn sheep negotiate nearly vertical terrain. The canyon's human history spans 10,000 years. Prehistoric hunters, Crow Nation settlements, and infamous outlaws who hid in its remote side canyons. Today, visitors enjoy world-class fishing for trout in the river below Yellowtail Dam, and unparalleled solitude in this less visited treasure. Would you choose a boat adventure through the narrowest sections of the canyon, or hike the remarkable trails along the rim for bird's-eye views? Tell me which Bighorn Canyon experience would call to your sense of adventure. Towering dramatically above Big Sky Resort at 11,166 feet, Lone Peak's distinctive pyramid shape dominates the skyline with a presence that's simultaneously intimidating and irresistible. In winter, expert skiers challenge themselves on the peak's legendary Big Couloir, one of America's most extreme inbound ski runs, with a heart-stopping 50-degree pitch. Come summer, adventurous visitors ascend via the scenic tram to stand atop this mountain monarch, where 360-degree views reveal 3 states, multiple mountain ranges, and even distant Yellowstone features. Geologically, Lone Peak is part of the Madison Range, formed by volcanic activity and glacial carving. The mountain creates its own weather, often clouded at the summit while clear below. Would you brave the ultimate skiing challenge down its extreme terrain, or prefer hiking its summer wildflower meadows before riding the tram to its breathtaking summit? Share in the comments how you'd experience this iconic Montana peak that represents both supreme challenge and sublime beauty. Nestled where 5 mountain ranges and 3 rivers converge, Missoula blends outdoor adventure with sophisticated cultural offerings. This university town's vibrant downtown centers around the Clark Fork River, where surfers ride a permanent wave at Brennan's Wave Park. While pedestrians watch from riverside trails, historic brick buildings house independent bookstores, farm-to-table restaurants, and galleries that showcase Montana's creative energy. Known as the Garden City for its surprisingly mild climate, Missoula's outdoor culture thrives year-round. The massive M on Mount Sentinel offers a popular hiking trail with panoramic valley views. Missoula's literary reputation as home to notable authors is celebrated in eclectic bookshops and the annual Festival of the Book. Would you choose to float the Clark Fork on an inner tube through downtown on a summer afternoon? Or explore the remarkable Saturday farmers market featuring local produce, crafts, and music? Comment which Missoula experience would best capture your interest. In the geographic center of Montana, where mountains meet prairie, Lewistown preserves its frontier character with beautifully maintained sandstone buildings constructed during the homesteading boom of the early 1900s. This authentic western town sits amid rolling grasslands once home to vast bison herds and now supporting cattle ranches and wheat fields that stretch to the horizon. The meticulously restored 1905 Montana Railroad Depot anchors a downtown where century-old architecture houses modern businesses. The surrounding Judith Mountains and nearby Missouri Breaks offer spectacular landscapes far from tourist crowds. Big Spring Creek, one of Montana's premier spring creeks, flows right through town, offering blue ribbon trout fishing. Would you prefer exploring the fascinating Central Montana Museum with its homesteading and dinosaur exhibits? Or driving the scenic back roads through rolling ranch country where massive hay bales dot golden fields beneath big sky vistas? Let me know which authentic Montana experience in Lewistown would speak to you. Cradled by forested mountains that reflect perfectly in its clear waters, Whitefish Lake offers pristine alpine beauty just minutes from the charming resort town of the same name. This glacially carved lake stretches 5 miles long, its white sand beaches and cool, clean waters creating a perfect summer playground. The historic Great Northern Railway first brought visitors here in the early 1900s, and today, the restored train depot still welcomes travelers to this mountain paradise. Whitefish Mountain Resort looms above the lake's western shore, offering world-class skiing in winter and mountain biking in summer. Lakeside, the prestigious Whitefish Lake Golf Club integrates the natural landscape into its challenging course. Would you choose a sunset sail across the lake, with Whitefish's charming downtown lights twinkling in the distance? Or prefer paddleboarding along the shoreline, where private cabins and mountain homes peek through towering ponderosa pines? Comment which Whitefish Lake activity would complete your perfect Montana summer day. Named for conservationist George Bird Grinnell, who advocated tirelessly for Glacier National Park's creation. Grinnell Glacier represents both breathtaking beauty and sobering climate change evidence. The challenging 7.6-mile trail to reach this iconic ice field climbs 1,600 feet through bear country. Past thundering waterfalls and the spectacular stepping stones of Grinnell Lake, Swift Current Lake, and Lake Josephine. Each a different mesmerizing shade of turquoise due to varying concentrations of the glacial flower. The glacier itself has dramatically retreated since first photographed in 1887, losing over 90% of its ice, a visual testament to our warming climate. Those who make the journey are rewarded with views of jagged peaks, ice caves, and meltwater pools of an otherworldly blue. Would you challenge yourself to the full-day hike to stand on the glacier's edge where few visitors venture, or enjoy the spectacular scene from the many glacier boat tour that shortens the hiking distance? Share which Grinnell experience would fulfill your glacier park dreams. At the remote northwestern edge of Glacier National Park, down 35 miles of unpaved road, the tiny outpost of Polebridge offers a glimpse of Montana as it existed a century ago. With no cell service or electrical grid, this off-grid community centers around the iconic red Polebridge Mercantile, a rustic general store built in 1914 that serves legendary huckleberry bear claws and pastries baked in vintage ovens. Solar panels and generators provide minimal power to the handful of year-round residents who brave harsh winters to live in this pristine wilderness. The nearby North Fork of the Flathead River forms Glacier Park's wild western boundary, while the remote Bozeman and Kintla Lakes offer unparalleled solitude and stargazing. Would you be drawn to experiencing life off-grid by renting one of the rustic cabins at the Northern Lights Saloon? Or would you simply enjoy the Mercantile's famous baked goods before exploring the park's least visited sector? Comment which aspect of this authentic frontier experience would most appeal to your sense of adventure. As Glacier National Park's largest and most accessible lake, Lake Mcdonald stretches 10 miles through a perfect glacial valley where multicolored stones line the shoreline beneath crystal clear waters. These stones, in shades of red, green, and purple, were ground smooth by ancient glaciers and reveal the complex geology of the surrounding mountains. Historic Lake Mcdonald Lodge, built in 1914 in Swiss chalet style, stands on the eastern shore with its massive stone fireplace and rustic timber interior preserved as a National Historic Landmark. The lake's unusually clear waters reflect the surrounding mountains with mirror perfection, creating one of Montana's most photographed scenes. In winter, when tourists depart, absolute silence descends except for the occasional crack of lake ice or distant avalanche. Would you choose to experience this iconic lake by kayak at sunrise when the water is perfectly still? Or prefer to join a historic red bus tour along Going to the Sun Road with Lake Mcdonald unfolding dramatically below? Share which Lake Mcdonald experience would create your perfect Glacier Park memory. With its 3 distinct forks carving their way through pristine Montana wilderness, the wild and scenic Flathead River system offers adventures ranging from gentle float trips to heart-pounding whitewater. The North Fork forms the western boundary of Glacier National Park, flowing crystal clear through remote forests. The Middle Fork thunders through John Stevens Canyon in spectacular Class 4 rapids that challenge expert rafters. The South Fork winds more gently through meadows, before all 3 branches unite to flow into Flathead Lake. These pristine waters support critical habitat for native bull trout and West Slope cutthroat trout, while providing some of Montana's most spectacular river corridors. Wildlife sightings are common, with eagles fishing from overhanging cottonwoods and moose wading in quiet backwaters. Would you seek adrenaline on a whitewater expedition through the Middle Fork's challenging rapids? Or prefer a peaceful float trip where you can cast for trout in the gentler sections? Comment which Flathead River adventure would make your Montana journey complete. True to its name, Paradise Valley stretches north from Yellowstone National Park, between the towering Absaroka and Gallatin Ranges. Carved by the free-flowing Yellowstone River as it winds through ranch land backed by snow-capped peaks. This spectacular valley, made famous in films like A River Runs Through It, combines working ranches with natural hot springs, guest ranches, and blue ribbon trout waters that attract fly fishermen from around the world. Emigrant Peak dominates the eastern skyline, while natural features like Devil's Slide, a dramatic red streak visible on Cinnabar Mountain, reveal the valley's complex geology. Historic Chico Hot Springs Resort has welcomed visitors since 1900 to soak in natural mineral waters while enjoying farm-to-table cuisine. Would you choose to experience the valley on horseback at one of the historic guest ranches? Or wade into the legendary Yellowstone River with fly rod in hand to test your skills against wise trout? Let me know which Paradise Valley adventure would fulfill your Montana dreams. With the Yellowstone River flowing along its edge and the Absaroka Mountains creating a dramatic backdrop, Livingston combines authentic Western heritage with a surprisingly vibrant art scene. Originally established as a raucous railroad town, serving as the northern gateway to Yellowstone, today's Livingston preserves its historic downtown, where brick buildings dating to the 1880s now house art galleries, fly shops, and farm-to-table restaurants. The restored Livingston Depot, once the elegant portal where wealthy tourists transferred to stagecoaches bound for Yellowstone, now serves as a museum celebrating the Northern Pacific Railroad's role in opening the American West. The town's artistic community includes writers, painters, and craftspeople drawn by stunning landscapes and quality of light. Famous for persistent winds that can exceed 70 miles per hour as pressure systems funnel through nearby Bozeman Pass, Livingston's weather contributes to its rugged character. Would you explore the fascinating Depot Museum and historic downtown, or experience the legendary Yellowstone River that flows right past town? Share which aspect of this authentic Montana town would most capture your interest. Born from the confluence of the Firehole and Gibbon Rivers in Yellowstone National Park, the Madison flows north into Montana as one of America's most revered trout streams, where fly fishermen pilgrimage to test their skills against wild rainbow and brown trout. Named by Lewis and Clark in 1805, this river flows through spectacular mountain scenery and broad valleys where moose, elk, and eagles are common sights along its banks. The Madison's consistent flows and insect hatches create ideal conditions for trout, while the surrounding landscape offers stunning beauty in every season, from winter's steaming waters where waterfowl gather in the frigid air, to summer's golden evenings when trout rise to feed on the surface. Between Quake Lake and Ennis, the river forms the famous 50-mile riffle, a stretch revered by anglers worldwide. Would you prefer experiencing the Madison by drifting in a traditional flat-bottomed boat with an expert guide, or wading its legendary riffles at sunset as trout dimple the surface during the evening hatch? Comment which Madison River experience would fulfill your Montana fishing dreams. Created in 1914 when Madison River was dammed, Hebgen Lake has transformed from simple reservoir to premier recreational destination. Its 15-mile length nestled against mountain backdrops. Known as Montana's premier stillwater fishing destination, Hebgen hosts legendary gulper fishing, where massive trout cruise the surface-eating Callibaetis mayflies, creating sight fishing opportunities that draw anglers from worldwide. The lake gained tragic fame during the 1959 earthquake when its waters sloshed like a bathtub, creating 20-foot waves that overtopped the dam without destroying it. Today, summer cabins and rustic resorts dot the shoreline, while eagles nest in tall pines and trumpeter swans raise their young in marshy coves. Winter brings ice fishing enthusiasts who drill through thick ice to catch trout below. Would you choose summer sailing across this mountain-ringed lake with the Madison Range reflected in its waters, or try the unique experience of gulper fishing for cruising trout? Share which Hebgen Lake activity would top your Montana lake adventure. Stretching 96 miles from Missoula to Lost Trail Pass along Montana's western edge, the Bitterroot Valley combines spectacular mountain scenery with one of Montana's mildest climates. The jagged Bitterroot Mountains, resembling a dragon's spine, form the western border with Idaho, while the gentler Sapphire Range rises to the east. The valley floor, carpeted with family farms, orchards, and ranches, supports Montana's earliest agriculture, with apple orchards and cherry trees providing spectacular spring blossoms. The valley takes its name from Montana's state flower, the tiny pink bitterroot once harvested by native peoples for food. Historic towns like Hamilton and Stevensville, Montana's first permanent settlement, preserve their frontier character while adapting to modern times. Lewis and Clark traveled through in both directions on their epic journey, naming many geographic features. Would you prefer exploring the valley's many hiking trails leading to alpine lakes and wilderness areas, or visiting the historic orchards and roadside stands offering fresh local produce? Comment which Bitterroot Valley experience would most appeal to your travel style. dominated by the towering 585-foot brick smokestack that remains from what was once the world's largest copper smelter. Anaconda tells the story of industrial Montana through its remarkably preserved buildings and mining heritage. This company town, built by Copper King Marcus Daly in the 1880s, features a spectacular downtown where the ornate Washoe Theater, considered one of America's finest remaining Art Deco theaters, still shows first-run movies under its original murals and silverleaf ceiling. The Hearst Free Library and County Courthouse showcase the architectural grandeur that mining wealth could build on the frontier. The surrounding landscape bears witness to both environmental damage and remarkable recovery from a century of copper smelting. Today, the Jack Nicklaus-designed Old Works Golf Course incorporates mining artifacts and black slag bunkers into its award-winning layout. Would you be more interested in exploring the town's remarkable architectural heritage on a walking tour, or playing around on the unique golf course built atop an industrial wasteland? Let me know which aspect of Anaconda's story would most intrigue you. Spanning the wild North Fork of the Flathead River at the edge of Glacier National Park, Blankenship Bridge offers access to some of Montana's most pristine wilderness, while telling stories of frontier ingenuity. The original historic one-lane bridge has been replaced, but the location remains a critical access point, where adventurous travelers leave pavement behind to explore the park's remote western valleys. Below the bridge, crystal-clear waters flow through a spectacular gorge where whitewater enthusiasts test their skills in challenging rapids. The surrounding area represents the complex intersection of wilderness preservation, forest management, and recreation. This crossing point marks the boundary between developed land and true wilderness, stretching northward to Canada. In autumn, kokanee salmon turn the river red during their spawning run, attracting bald eagles that gather in record numbers. Would you choose to experience this area by launching a whitewater rafting adventure from the bridge? Or use it as your gateway to explore Glacier's least visited corners on the rough North Fork Road? Share which adventure from Blankenship Bridge would call to your wild side. Spanning 2 million acres across western Montana, Lolo National Forest encompasses snow-capped peaks, alpine lakes, and dense forests where wilderness and adventure await around every bend. Named for the Salish word for carrying place, Lolo refers to the mountain pass where native peoples crossed the Bitterroot Mountains for centuries, before Lewis and Clark followed the same route in 1805. Today, the historic Lolo Trail traces their challenging journey through remote backcountry. The forest's crown jewels include the 1.2 million acre Great Burn proposed wilderness area, the scenic Sealy Swan Valley with its chain of pristine lakes, and the remarkable Lolo Hot Springs, where natural thermal waters bubble from Earth's depths. Wildlife thrives throughout, with elk, deer, black bears, and the occasional grizzly making their home among towering ponderosa pines and western larch that turn brilliant gold each autumn. Would you prefer backpacking to alpine lakes where mountain goats watch from rocky crags, or seeking the perfect fishing spot along one of the forest's countless clear streams? Comment which Lolo experience would fulfill your Montana wilderness dreams. Positioned where the Great Plains abruptly meet the towering Front Range of Glacier National Park, the tiny community of St. Mary serves as the eastern gateway to Going to the Sun Road and offers some of Montana's most dramatic landscape transitions. Here, visitors can literally stand with one foot in the prairie ecosystem and another in the alpine world. Turquoise Street, Mary Lake stretches westward into the mountains, often reflecting massive thunderheads that build over the peaks on summer afternoons. This area holds profound significance for the Blackfeet Nation, whose reservation borders the park and who maintain deep spiritual connections to these mountains they call the backbone of the world. The nearby Museum of the Plains Indian showcases remarkable artistic traditions. Would you choose to experience this spectacular meeting of ecosystems by driving the Going to the Sun Road as it climbs from prairie into alpine terrain? Or by learning about Blackfeet cultural connections to this sacred landscape? Share which St. Mary experience would deepen your understanding of this remarkable place. Beyond Montana's iconic destinations lies the true heart of the state, its rural landscapes where fourth-generation ranchers still drive cattle between summer and winter pastures, where small towns center around single cafes serving homemade pie, and where gravel roads stretch toward distant horizons seemingly without end. These landscapes, whether the golden wheat fields of the High Line near the Canadian border, the sagebrush plains of the Missouri Breaks, or the rolling ranch country of central Montana, represent the authentic West that persists despite changing times. Small-town rodeos still mark summer weekends, with local cowboys competing for modest prizes and community pride. General stores in towns like Winnett, Webo, and Utica provide both necessities and gathering places where neighbors exchange news. Would you be drawn to experience Montana's rural character by attending a small-town rodeo where competitors include local ranching families? Or by exploring the back roads where antelope bound across native grasslands and historic one-room schoolhouses still stand as monuments to frontier education? Comment, which aspect of rural Montana would give you the most authentic glimpse into the state's enduring character? As our journey through Montana's most remarkable wonders comes to an end, I hope you felt that distinctive magic that makes Big Sky Country unlike anywhere else on Earth. From glacier-carved valleys to endless prairies, from rushing rivers to peaceful alpine lakes, Montana offers a profound connection to wilderness that stays with you long after you've returned home. If you've enjoyed this expedition through Montana's natural wonders, please support Wild Discoveries by subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and sharing this video with fellow travelers. Join Sarmad on the next adventure as we continue exploring Earth's most breathtaking destinations.